to Atlantic Ocean, upon me hills to Pocondre, to educate, elevate, and promote. Yeah, focus on Liberia, for Liberia, Liberia, for Liberia, yeah. From Monday to Sunday. From Monday to Sunday, it's focus on Liberia. Talk about home affairs, in diaspora, current affairs, reliable information. Education, entertainment, business, sports, advertisement, articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia.
Well, it's Sunday and it's Focus on Liberia, and this is On Point. Thank you all for joining us. I'm getting a slight echo there. I'm not sure where that's coming from. Okay, I've been sharing the show a little bit, so hopefully it's not me. Welcome everybody out there. Once more, it is Sunday. It is On Point, and we are once more going to be discussing Liberia, all of the happenings throughout the week. We're glad that you guys join us. Please share the show. It's going to be riveting as usual. We have our panelists here with us, and we're going to run through the names right now. Dr. Fidel Budi, how are you, sir? You're almost there. You're still in there yet? All right. Let's see. There you go.
No, when you mentioned the echo, so I put myself on mute, and then I tried to use the technology. I think Mr. Nangwe probably did something. You know, the county meet on right now, and every county is trying to bang by the other county so that they can, win the fight. No, it's great to be here as always, and I'm looking forward to a good time. Well, afternoon, because it's afternoon on your side. Yeah.
There we go. Yes, it is. It is early evening. That's how we used to call it in Cruzerville. Early evening. Yes. So, Mr. Tao, how are you? How are you this Sunday?
I'm doing good. We got some of your northern weather here, but it kind of eased up a little bit. We're not used to something like that. But talking about content meat, my content sandal was coming in, but it got stuck in the mud. Uh-oh. So they'll be waiting for a while. Well, I'm doing good. I'm glad to be here.
Wow, that's great. Mr. Namwe, how are you, boss?
What's up, Mr. Padmore? It's good to be here. It's early afternoon, as we used to say in Felocan. It's good to be here.
But it's great for you guys to join us. To our viewers out there, thanks for joining us. We appreciate you. We know time is the most valuable commodity there is. So when you take some of that time to spend with us here on Sunday, we appreciate you, and we try to give you a really good show. Thank you so much. So there's a lot that has been happening in Liberia, but let's start off with the content meet, man. I want to hear from everybody. We saw your own, Mr. Nangwe. Who are you?
You know,
I know you get 3 teams. Somebody got 5 teams. Which team you support?
I support all the teams from the Southeast, but most specifically, Maryland County. I think they lost their first game today. If the numbers that I saw,
You lost to for me. Right?
Correct. I think we lost 1-2 or something like that. I also support Nimba. If we are not playing each other, of course. But if we are playing each other, then I'll lean on Maryland. My wife is on Nimba, and so I am also supporting Nimba and Maryland.
Oh, the people here, I swear. Yeah, I think you're bombing now in Ria County.
I hope what you're not playing. Oh,
Bombing now in Ria County, that territory.
But your county now, your move from territory to county, so your county.
Yo, bro, Bombing, I'm begging you. I'm just joking, okay? I don't want to see you on my post that tell me about bombing, okay? But anyway, Mr. Tao, what's your team, man? What do you think? Do you guys can go all the way?
Yeah, I think Grand Bassa will go all the way. Yeah, Grand Bassa. They'll go. Right. Yeah, I heard that since Opon decided to go play for Grand Crew, Dibat will go play for Bassa, and then Bocha play for Bommy.
Did you play your first? Did you play your first match yet, Mr. Tower? Did you play your first match yet?
No, I don't think so.
I think Bassa also played today, though. I didn't follow all of them.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't follow. I followed the loudest people, of course, who are usually Nima, Sano, Maryland. Oh, the people loud. Jeez. Yeah. When you see them come here, you think they're not winning already. But it's great, man. It's great. You know, one of the things I love about the country meet is it gets the whole country kind of, you know, like vibrating about, you know.
Yeah.
It just takes me 2 things it does. Yeah. One is it shows me what we are capable of doing when we unite the country behind one purpose. And the second thing it does, it kind of depresses me because we don't take advantage of the opportunities. You know? It'll be showing yourself to all, you know? Like, look, because all here we grew up in it. I mean, well, we didn't grow up, but we existed in the 80s, you know? And we knew how Samuel Doe used soccer, you know, to unite the country. I don't think there was anything else really that you can point to and say, besides soccer, there was something else that Samuel Doe used to unite 16 tribes.
They call it in football.
Football. Mm-hmm. Football, my man. Football. When Lone Star were playing with Holiday. No flower. Even when you and your man making flower, when the score go, you're hugging each other. That's how we're looking. You know what I mean? People.
You're right. Yes, you're right, Mike. It kind of gives us a glimpse into what could have been. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed, man. You know?
Well, yes. Dr. now.
Suppose it's a united.
No, exactly. Yeah, with you. I want to be the one of people. I want you one of the Cruiser Bay not ask me about one football team too.
Hey, we're coming to those people there.
When are Cruiser Bay still existing?
Cruiser Bay, what the township of Cruiser Bay?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's written into law.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. They play again. That time again. They own no paper. You can take it anytime. The government get the government get to that place for anytime. And you know, it's written into law. It says, hey, these acres will be for these people for eternity. You can't do nothing with it. Here we go. Mr. Buri would have written it. Now people, he put full of heart. Mr. Buri, please tell about I want to know where you're from. I want to know the content team that you have chosen and why.
But then I have to tell you where I'm from, because if
That's
the
right.
why includes where
Why
I'm
you
from.
posting it? Then that's fine.
Yeah. So no, Sino County, obviously, because that's where my father's family comes from. So that's my first support. And then obviously, like Mr. Nangbe, but slightly not like him, because I don't have a wife from Nima County, but I grew up in Nima. My family settled in Nima. My mom was born in Nima County as well. So most times my support for Sando not too long, but we can't go far. And then I can just follow Nima County. So most of the time I end up supporting Nima County because they tend to go further along.
That's true.
So yeah, that particular affiliation is good for me, because I've tasted a lot of wins because of that. Because we're money sound up in it, and it's more enjoy winning things. So, so yeah, no, yeah. So I'm sure again this year I'll probably be supporting them all the way.
I look forward to the day when they will hold the semifinals or the knockout league or something like that outside of Monrovia. In one of those counties to just push development. Samuel Doe, I remember going closer towards the 90s. He started celebrating his birthday in different counties. And that was the sense behind it. Like, if I can celebrate my birthday in a county, it will spur development, in that county and stuff like that. But a little too little, too little, too late. As for me,
so President Salif tried out with the 26 celebrations when she was president, because I remember going to the one in Lofa County in Bonjama in 2011. So she would, to be honest, what I saw in terms of development projects. So she normally would unveil a new building or some new road or something like that. So she tried, yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
see.
I mean, to Dr. Buddha's point, even I think the 2023, it was supposed to go to River G, I think 2023. I know that because during the Elling government and the WIA government, my friend Philip, he was the superintendent of River G, and I know that because there was a lot of preparation that he was making. But apparently, after the election, I'm not sure if they did go to River G. I think they went somewhere else. But I know that he started a lot of work, including building his house, starting, I think, a pitch and all of that. So yes, I think that was the intent, to go from one county to the other, because there's a lot of money that followed these events. You'll be shocked. Yeah, I think the budget my friend was telling me was around, if I'm not mistaken, some $800,000 or maybe a little bit more. That's a lot of money for a small county like River G. Because when the league is over, the infrastructure remains there. And so that the Buddha is right out. That's how it was meant to be. From one area to the other. Not everybody coming to Monrovia all the time.
And just to throw one point in there as well, there's an economic factor as well. Because I know when we went to Vonjama 2011, all the hotels were booked, right? And it brings in a lot of money, because I was working in the private sector at the time. And obviously, when government people going somewhere, we won't go there, because that where contract talk then can happen.
Yeah, we heard you left a lot of babies there too.
No, I didn't leave when I checked. I did check. I did.
But look. Let me just add something of meaning. I'm glad that you brought this up, because Mr. Padmo said this very early on at the opportunity is missed. And I went back and I was reading through of some of Liberia historical stuff. And when County Meet was first created, I think we're on top of October, that was the intent. So that it was never supposed to be hosted only in Monrovia. It was supposed to rotate between counties. So that way they designate a certain development fund, and then they go in, they develop certain infrastructure. So that then it moves. So that way, those places, because once you put the infrastructure, let's say a stadium or something like that, they encourage football to start in that area and other things to start there. So like that. And then I don't know what happened. Everything just became Monrovia, and Monrovia is really overcrowded. So I hope we see reason to start doing this. But I doubt it under this particular political condition that we have now. If they place it anywhere and they're supposed to build stadium, you will see the representative only stadium.
Of
and
course.
if they're
Just like
supposed
they
to
own
grow,
everything,
they're owning road.
universities and all that.
Yeah. So I hope that can change. You know,
And to that point, Mr. Tao, and maybe that's why it shouldn't even happen every year to give those people time to plan. Maybe every 2 years or so. You know, and you're right. Deploy the resources because most of these counties they almost will build a new pitch. You know, they got to put gas. There's a lot that goes with this, but you're right. When it's a lot of real resources, economic development that come with with these games. And I think I don't think it's late. We need to rethink it and probably go back to the initial model. It looks like I'm lagging and my internet is acting up.
A little bit. When I even ask you, would you continue pretending?
I'm in the same place I always am. I'm not in lo-fi.
Okay. All right. Well, tell you lo-fi candy the people that booty left there.
It go make sure. It going to send.
No, I tell you one quick joke, right? The reports that the cardinal children, there's a little town, a couple of towns, we have Sergeant College Town, SKT, and then there's Senior, then there's Plateau Town, and all those places. Yeah, and the kids now who are coming to the university now, they're starting to look like some of us who left a couple of years ago.
Was that matching the yearbook? Was that looking through the yearbook? Yes. But yes, gentlemen, so we're gonna go ahead and start the show. As for me, I suppose us all the continent. When I was small, I was Congo ball. So when they ask all my friends, they say you went try. They say you Basel, you went try.
You Congo when you were small. I tell you.
Yes, I was Congo when I was small.
Now you Congo boy no more.
Now you Congo again.
So I said, "Where I try?" All my men say, "My men, I make it."
I think it's the mayor of Cruiserville.
Yeah, so I want to wear money. I get try.
So you belong to all counties?
I'm from Monserrato, no, but I'm actually Basel by tribe. My mother is Basel. My mother is Basel true and true. So I am Basel. My father is Congo. So I always tell people say I can eat domo with one hand and I can eat split pea and grill with the other hand. Yes. And so I always talk about that. But so when it comes down to it, I celebrate Basel. My wife is from Sino, but your Sino people can talk too much, so I don't let to even play with you. Yeah.
Your wife to the heart. So we can tell you telling.
I'll be talking all that in the yeah. All right, but let's go ahead and show. So anyway, gentlemen, welcome again. So I'll go through the topics here really quick. What we're going to be discussing today, and thanks again for joining us, people. We hope your team was successful in the opening weekend of the national county meet. Where they only have football and kickball. Hopefully they don't even spread. I don't even know why they don't have basketball. But anyway, that's what we are. So with the topics, topic number one, the street polls have been going on. Douala, Rayleigh, and it seems to be not favoring the president. And I mean, just 1 year in. So we'll talk about that. The second thing is that the University of Liberia gets its 16th president in its history. We'll talk about that. I believe she's a foreigner, and correct me if I'm wrong. And it has brought concerns to people. People are concerned, out of over 5 million people in a huge diaspora community, why we had to choose a foreigner, if a foreigner was the best choice for the University of Liberia coming up now. And so, like I said, we'll talk about it. And please correct me if I'm wrong. If she's not a foreigner, please somebody can correct me. But that the last news I got was that she was indeed a foreigner. So just to put it out there. Besides that, topic. So that's the second topic here. Topic number 3 is. Give me 1 second. I'm getting old people. So please. Topic number 3 is IG Gregory Coleman had a press conference along with the chief of the fire service, and they have announced to the Liberian public that they have concluded the investigation of the Capitol building fire, and that it was indeed arson. And they have people of interest that that they are going to invite. And if they invite you and you can't, they will arrest you. You know, but you know, where you can invite people to come to their house. When they come, you can go there and go. You can go there and bring them to your house by force. Why not just arrest the person in the first place? But anyway, and the final was, this one was very surprising to me. I witnessed a clip where Unity Party, the ruling party, the youth league, tried to hold a conference, press conference, and they were extremely disgruntled with their leadership and what has been going on, you know. And this falls on the backdrop of, you know, I don't know if you guys remember that little parable that Joseph Brand gave when in Lofa. You say, they pin a rest here. I tell you to put your hand inside E. Then you ask him who has hand in the pool. Very, very. I don't know if people remember that, but that was the parable he gave. Don't ask, just your own. But so we'll see if that has any connection. So we'll start off. Mr. Booty. I don't know if we'll start with the. Let's you know what? Let's start. Let's start with University of Liberia. I think that is really good. We can skip around. What's your take here, Dr. Booty? What's your take here on Dr. Mapaya, Leila Mapaya, being selected and inducted in as the 16th president of the University of Liberia?
Well, I think for me personally, you want to give her the opportunity to get into the office, assess what is going on, tell the Liberian people, myself, well, all of us included, what her plans would be to transform our university, and then give her a period of time to start to see those plans come to fruition. I think is unfair, personally. And I'll touch on the elephant in the room. It's unfair for us to start criticizing the appointment and just when she's not even taken office yet. And look, I remember back in I think it was 2008, 2011, I think, when the UK government appointed a Canadian guy to head the Bank of England. So he was a Canadian banker from, I think he served in the Central Bank of Canada for a period of time, and he oversaw one of the most stable monetary period in the United Kingdom history in recent years anyway. So I don't think the nationality of the individual should be an issue as long as she comes in and does a good job. One would think, you know, and I don't know, and I'm like you, Mr. Patmore, I don't know her nationality, but the surname suggests that she might be married to a Liberian, and if she is, then you think she's a Liberian by marriage, right? But that's irrelevant for me. I think, look, if she knows what she's doing and she can come in and really alter the trajectory of the University of Liberia, make it a competitive institution, establish relationships with organizations similar to that in the United States of America, and start to get some reputation or accreditation for the University of Liberia, and we'll all be excited, because at the end of the day, all of us in this room, right, and I see you shaking your head, Mr. Partner, I'm happy you're agreeing, all of us in this room want our University of Liberia graduates to be on the same par with graduates from other universities across the world. That's what we all want. And whether it's Mr. Nangbe or whether it's Mr. Tao or whether it's you, Mr. Patmo, heading the university is irrelevant, as long as you can bring that success, as long as you can take us to where we need to go. So for me, in summary, I think the how do they call it? We wait and see. We give her the chance to show us what she can do, and we will be watching. And not just me. I know everybody who has an issue with the appointment will be watching. I don't. I personally don't have an issue, because I want to give her the chance to succeed. And any success in life is good for all of us, and we're always open to it.
You're muted.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Nangwe. There are a couple of things here that Dr. Booty brought up. That the first thing is Canadians are all cheering of the crown. So that the same people when I come in say, "Oh, you're from Canada," that the same people. But more especially, why? If you're looking outside, what does this signal? That for me, that was my question. Nobody could answer that question for me. If you're looking outside, what is that signal about inside? And if you've come to a conclusion about inside, what has caused that? What has fed that you've come to a conclusion about inside that you're looking outside? What's your take about the new LU president that has been inducted into office and that will start, according to her, the university will be open Monday morning, January 13th.
Yeah, Monday morning happens to be a few hours from now. So, and talking about Canada, our incoming president say, Canada should become a part of the U.S. In the yellow machine. It's going to be an interesting 4 years ahead. But listen, I think Dr. Booty made some very good points. This lady, I think, I really share the skepticism of those who believe that she has an uphill battle, including our own Dr. Duke. I read what he wrote and some of the points he made. I mean, I absolutely agree with those. Those are points we already began making. One, this lady has absolutely no experience in managing an institution as large as a university, right? You're talking about between 22 to about 25,000 students for an institution that was built for around 2,000 people, according to Dr. Duke. So every infrastructure associated with that institution is training, is because it's the university is overpopulated. Then you add that to another 2,000 what we call staff faculty, staff and faculty. So that's a lot of people for this little to manage for someone who has just managed a little department where you might just be coordinating your colleagues of maybe 25, 50 or so, making sure the grade book is up to date. Grades are in on time at the end of the year. Make sure, they put in the book list or whatever. That's really different. And then coupled with that, you are coming into, it's not just sliding into an institution which is quickly functional and everything is functional. No, you're coming in to virtually start an institution from below sea level and bring it up to par. So that is challenging. So you have an overpopulated, underfunded, as Dr. Duke said, and overly politicized institution. Then you have the whole set of our Liberian culture, the way things are done. It's very important to be able to build relationships based on an understanding of me bringing in my palm butter rice to warm me in the staff cafeteria, and you coming in and not holding your dose. You understand me? All these little things. So she has an uphill task. But again, you talk about looking from out and looking in. I'm from Cotton, so you can consider me an outsider to the university culture. But so I think the president's intentions, I don't know. I'm just going to take a wild guess. It could turn out to be a very smart pick. I think the president is trying to make an absolutely clean break from the old culture and bring in someone entirely foreign who may just disregard everything that we hold dear as the University of Liberia and just probably turn the thing around and make it a world-class university, as all of us are hoping she will do. But the chance of her doing that, I think, is very, very slim. Giving out of the odds that are stacked against her. No money. You have an over politicized institution. The school has been closed for almost a year now. There's a lot of angst and anxiety. You then coupled with a new president. I mean, it's just a whole lot that I think she's going to straddle. At the same time, and it will be a pretty testing assignment for her. But I on paper, she looks qualified academically, but whether she will be able to find those those requisite managerial skills to navigate all of these minefields that we are all describing here. It remains to be seen. I think she gets a start tomorrow, so she gets a crack at it. It'll be interesting to see how the day goes tomorrow.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Mr. Tao,
Yes.
you constantly talk about systems and how when systems are broken, it doesn't matter who they put it there. The broken system will remain broken. We've seen a number of people become president of the University of Liberia, and with all of their grand plans, they had somewhere along the line they have failed, and they've left. We've seen the government go outside of Liberia to bring somebody in. Tell me what are your expectations here?
Okay. So, Mr. Nangwe and Dr. Booty, they made some good point, right? Whichever Liberian one, right, will want the university to work, we want for it to succeed, we want for things to be smooth. But in the face of trying to make things to work or things to be smooth, we also have to remember that there is always an agenda. And this is the one thing that the African really cannot get. We really miss this point, this particular point, that we are in competition with other people. Until we can grasp this concept at every level, we see this even in our own homes as brothers and sisters growing up. You can call it healthy competition or toxic, but there is always competition. And I'm glad that Mr. Padmo, you pointed out about the Canadian coming. These are people of the same stock. These are people of the same cultural orientation. They're the same. They're called the collective West or the conceptual West, Australia and all these guys. But look, why is it that if this lady was a Chinese lady, all Liberians in the diaspora area will be in arms. If this lady was even a Nigerian, everybody would be in arms. Because remember when we are trying to want to bring some Ghanaian nurses, Nigerian nurses or teachers or whatever, I was not on focus on Africa at that time. Nigerians that are much, much more closer to us culturally, that we are pretty much the same. You could see the resistance. People keep saying, for me, there are two sides to this. We don't have an education policy. Education is not about just somebody going to school and getting a degree. And no. It's about nation building. It's about the survival of a people. The educational policy and the framework is set so that the nation create people that will challenge in the global space. So since Liberia lack that, because we have no orientation, when you speak to a Liberian and you say the Chinese are your competitor, the American, they're like, no, they're partner. Nobody's your partner. You are competitors. You have something that these people need for them to live off of. So my point here is this. They keep saying, so that's the first aspect, right? We don't have that. So we have no orientation. Because if we really did, you would not go ahead and get somebody from a completely different culture with a completely different framework, mindset, bring them and put them over. The problem that we are having today as African, because other people educate us and educate our children. Education is you are implanting your spirit into the other people. You are, if that's an African, you are de-Africanizing them. That is what happened in education. Most of education is propaganda. A whole bunch of, I went into the technical area. A whole bunch of what we learn is theory. It's not even truth. It can be proven. But it is put in a way where it makes you to commit. You look at this culture as being so superior. That is what it is. So let's look at it like this. They keep saying that this lady with her educational background, what background? Go ahead now and do the research on this lady. What institution has she managed? Here in the US, if she's mixed, they won't even let her come close to an HBCU for her to even lead them, even one of the least. This lady, all she has done in 20 years, LGBT studies, feminism, woman empowerment, hip hop. These are the things that she's worked on, wrote some papers on them. So when they keep saying this her background, the Black administration, what good intention do they have if they're picking somebody? It's not even just because the lady's a foreigner. Let's forget that part. Because there is not that much difference between if you're talking about the concept. For instance, a whole bunch of us in the diaspora, because we come here, we get a little bit of degree, we think we are Americans. And we'll go back there, we try to superimpose the American or British or whatever, your Chinese, wherever we come from. We try to impose it there. But so let's look at that. Did they really do for that? Did they really do their homework for them to even see what the lady background is? For them to bring her. And somebody were on this program. They said, oh, she's going to bring a lot of money. That is not the point. That is what we are improving now. A lot of money comes to Liberia, but what type of program do they support? You think that in America, they don't have money here? People can even help their own population. Look at the amount of homeless people. So if somebody is going to channel money to you, there is an agenda to be achieved. So if a lady that is like this, then I'm asking a question. Remember, they have been pushing the LGBT and all this stuff in Africa at the point of even gun to your head, threatening you. Out of a certain, this lady, oh no, yeah. Listen to Obama, listen to Clinton as Secretary of State. They threaten.
No, that's what they're going now. They're going to.
You know, that would never let, would never allow you to fully agree with him. Then he start going downhill.
Yeah, so out of a certain, this lady show up from out of nowhere with this kind of background, with no history or record running in an institution, not even a junior college, not even a community college. So it's how did her appointment even come about? So if money coming in there, they said that we're going to start seeing LGBT 101. Is that possible in the future of the university?
They don't even have that in the US. LGBT.
No. But it is not that they will write it there, but you will see the way things will start forming. So for me, that is the thing. Two things. We don't have a framework in which anybody can work. If we had a framework, right? Listen, let me close. Mm-hmm. Let me close. If we had a framework and you bring this lady, right? Anybody, it can be Mr. Nambe, it can be you, it can be Dr. Booty. Mm-hmm. Just like somebody come on a job. They have a job description on what you expect for them to achieve for your company. Then the lady come in and she function at least in that somebody said, oh, she's only there to raise money. That is all that they do. Quite all right, but the president also direct policies too. They're influential in that. So then people work within it, but like, bro, we don't have it. So they grab this lady, they bring her because she allegedly will raise some money or because she's from the US or from so-called maybe China, whatever, they just put her there.
She's from the US.
Yeah, and we expect that what she will do, she will perform magic. So if she start to do this, what type of educational system is she going to be creating? Forget it. Let us remember now, there are a lot of so-called educated Liberians. Yeah, there are so-called lot of educated Liberians. So education is really not our problem. It's the orientation. Because if we have the wrong orientation, no matter how much so-called educated we are, no commitment to ourselves and to our people.
Okay, I'll give Mr. Nambe 30 seconds.
Yes, thank you, Mike. First of all, let me use 5 of those seconds to say my Eagles caused a turnover on the very first possession and we're up. So, but listen, I quite agree with most of what Mr. Tao said, but I slightly differ with him. One, on the way he perceives of the cultural connection. I think actually it's because of that I think the president may have brought this lady in to make a clean break from the culture that exists at the University of Liberia. Yes, we need our Liberianness. I get that, but usually we don't teach civics in the university. We enculturate and indoctrinate our students, at the primary and secondary level. At the time they go to the university, they're specializing and all of that. So I don't think there's too much worry there about indoctrinating our students at the university level. But this lady, as I looked at her resume, I'm one of those who feel she may be able to bring in some funding. I noticed on her resume there are tons and tons of grants that she has applied for, some denied, but some funded. And so I think with that background, I think she's coming in with that knowledge and experience on how to appeal for funding, which the university very badly needs, right? To get it back on track. So I think there is, I think there could be a 50-50 chance here that she could very well, she could surprise and actually do well. I'm reading Mr. Wallo is saying that she said the first thing is to get the payroll under control, which I think is not a bad thing.
Yeah, true, but let's be honest, and I'll switch to Dr. Booty, right? When you say getting the payroll under control, that means you are about to challenge the faculty.
That's right. Correct.
Yeah, that's what that means.
That's what that means, and that is part of the disrupting. That is part of the disrupting of the culture that some of us are referencing. Get the faculty payroll under control. But anyway, Dr. Booty, please go ahead.
And we know as far back as since I was a young boy, I remember, passing in front of the university and listening to the little children and the young people sing, Sawyer got it, Masters, Doe got it. There's been this connection, this connection between the students and the faculty, that the faculty have used the students on many occasions to drive their own agendas. Yeah. Mr. Booty, what do you see here?
I think people, so like Charles Taylor and Ellington sincerely have undermined that. I think that connection that was there during the Tubman, Tolbert, and Doe regime, I don't think is there at this moment in time. If it's there, it's very loose, right? But the point I wanted to make is, look, I think two things the president needs to do to help this lady. I know I was reading something quickly on Front Page Africa. I think she did do some work in Liberia before. So she's not a novice to the culture. But
that's actually meant of
that's why she is a Liberian. She's not a foreigner.
No, no. Just because you marry a Liberian does not make you a Liberian.
When you marry a Liberian, you're a Liberian by marriage.
No, you have to go to court. And you have to.
Well, how do you know she go to court?
Because if she are going to court, if you put there outside, come on, man, the people.
Not everybody. I know Nakubaku. I saw one of your posts that you posted the other day. Say, "Oh, we didn't get Nakubliki or Nakubaku the same chance I would give this lady." And things like that. But he lied.
He's accused of bullying.
Nakubaku and lied. Say he was natural.
In the beginning, now in the end, when you're forced
but it's not in the lie. So here is an exceptional case. Yeah. So let's not put them in the same bracket. Look, but the point I want to make is
she's married to a Liberian.
The point I want to make is the president, and I don't trust him to do this, but if he has any logical thinking process, he needs to bring the right people around her to support her. Because like you just pointed out, what Mr. Nangbe did, and then you buttressed at Mr. Patmore, the payroll team soon she touched it at war. That whole campus there will be war. Like Bob Marley said. So the president needs to support, because you see the thing, you can't put people in institutions and set them up to fail. And if he does not bring the right, so this is where you would need Liberians, whether they're based in Liberia or whether they're from the diaspora, who understand the mission. Now, look, this is what we need to achieve. So we'll bring you here so you can shield her from some of the ill will and disgusting words and things that would be thrown at her. At least you can try and shield her from those kinds. So the president needs to do that.
I totally agree. If that today, that's the most brilliant point you've made so far. I totally agree with that.
I
always talking nonsense today. I thought
everything else up to now
most brilliant. I actually add a comparison to your other brilliant works or other brilliant sayings. Don't put me on that category. No, but seriously, I mean, most of the things we fail in is because we'll find one good person and we'll like Dr. Tao, Mr. Tao said, and we'll just put it in that yama system and then think that the whole system will just change overnight, you know, and even to the presidency, it goes as high as the presidency. You know, we see president after president unwilling to surround themselves with competent people that will actually do the work. And so all of the dreams and aspirations they have, everything goes down the toilet by the third year of the administration because nobody really cares, you know. But anyway, we'll move on. Speaking about the presidency and speaking about the people that surround them and speaking about their aspirations and dreams, we are 10 days away from a complete revolution of the United Party's government first year in office. And we've seen numerous polls made by media institutions to our everyday people, the market people, the pen riders, the everyday Liberians who have to get up every single day and go out there and hustle for their families to provide. And it's not favorable to the administration. Some people are saying they want we are back. Others are saying they don't want this administration. Mr. Tawa, I'll start with you this time. What are you reading into all of this? Is this just, is this growing pains? Are people being premature in their judgment, or are they spot on?
Okay, so before I kind of address that, I would say something. About almost 2 weeks ago, I went to sleep and I had a dream. I was in Liberia. All of a sudden, I saw commotion. And I was like, what is going on? Because I told my friend this dream last week. And so the Bwaka government in that dream was rejected and was removed. Not by war or anything, because I didn't see no armament. I didn't see anything. The people just rose up and they demonstrated, and the government was forced out of power. And he stepped aside. Then I asked the question, said, but who is going to replace him? And I heard CDC and On Point, and I said, no way, that is not going to happen. So in that dream, I led some people and we also arrested On Point. So, but it just happened that way. And we're like, no, we're not going. When I mean arrest, we just told him, said, my man, you can't come back there. You already did this stuff. Leave it alone. Let them bring somebody else, right? And we talked to him, and in that dream, he seemed like he was receptive. But the point I'm making here is that to even have those dreams, and for the people have every right. Look at the country. Look, it's not whatever this present government being in power for 8 months or 6 months. It is just the way things are going from the very inception of the government. Everything, nothing is going right. In terms of, look, they can go and sign whatever concession they want to sign, whatever memorandum or MOU, whatever they want to call it. They can have the World Bank project that Liberia grew 4% over the last 6 months. That doesn't matter. What matters is how are the people faring in that particular country? How does that way say there is growth, there whatever, how is it affecting the lives of the people in a positive manner? And when you look in there, it's worse. It's worse. Nothing. I know that the people here, this is not about us being against, me personally being against any government. Mm-hmm. I want for the government to succeed, but let's look at the record. So, and then, because people are saying here, we hope that they do something better next year. No, you don't base anything on hope. That is not how we live our life. If you say you want to be a doctor or an engineer or an economist or whatever, you put in the time, you prepare yourself, you raise the money, you choose the college, you apply, you get in, you study. Then you say, I hope that I pass the test and make it. So there is preparation. Nobody goes to the moon by riding bicycle. You prepare and you build a rocket. So how are we hoping that 2025 will be different? What platform have they actually laid a policy decision that show a different trajectory rather than what they have been on? If you look at it, last year probably will be much better than this year because everything's still moving in the same direction. So the people, they have the right for them to be upset. Look, let me wrap up with this. Kelebu was always saying here, and because he was upfront, that look, if they're not careful, the only thing that will be in that country is war. It's not that nobody want war. Like me, I grew up in the war, dodged bullet all my teenage years. But the conditions that led to that war is worse now than it was when that war started. The amount of young people who are idle, who are capable and able-bodied, that are available now were never available even at that time.
That's true. That's true.
So if these politicians and these government officials actually understood this, they would do everything for them to be able to invest in the population, for them to move the country forward. Let everybody see that they have something in this country that they do have a stake, that they do have a share they can benefit. Until that can be done, there is nothing good that's going to come out of it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tao. Thank you so much. Until that is done, there's nothing good that will come out of it. Mr. Nangwe, I mean, we know just from history, we know that time is usually a president's or a former president's greatest friend. Right now, I mean, I never thought, I lived through 1980. I never thought in my lifetime I will see this many Liberians today that speak highly of William Aratobo, and his vision. Yes, because I experienced then, I experience now. But time has a way of smoothing things out, giving people perspective, giving them something to compare to, and all this. But I mean, 1 year, 1 year is no time at all. I'm thinking that people will start to soften maybe to Samuel Doe or to Charles Taylor, But right now, 1 year later, we are hearing these things. What and how do you expect this government? I mean, you don't speak for the government, but just knowing what this government last year, after you tell me about, what is your pitch on why the public is reacting the way it's reacting? What is your hope concerning this government on actually responding to that?
Well, this is a wake-up call. I hope they see it that way, because I've seen some of them on various, networks trying to explain this away. These were some of the market people they removed from the streets. These are some of the pimping driver who they made to buy helmet out of that. But listen, even here in this country, there's something they call here the perception index. How the people perceive of your performance. And it is easy for our people to compare where they were last year to where they are today. You go to the market, you carry $500 Liberian dollars, you could buy XYZ. Maybe that $500 Liberian dollars can only buy you X and Y now. You can't even add a Z. So, I think I hope they will take this thing seriously, because perception can also be contagious. There are some of the people who were not even thinking about it, but now seeing this thing, they're saying, "Oh, wait a minute." I think that maybe what people are saying, they begin to look around themselves. So, I'm hoping that this is a wake-up call. I mean, a number of us have said that over and over, even here on this network, that they are underperforming. There was a lot of expectation and some very little things, very basic things that they could do that they're not even doing. And so when the people are out in the streets and expressing themselves, that's how they feel about this government's performance. So I only hope that they take it, as a challenge to do better. This is the second year coming in. This going year, I think there was almost $35 million budget shortfall. But notwithstanding, there's some very basic things they could have done. $22 million appropriated. I think they took out $9 million on the roads. But look, where is that? These are some of the things that I think that are bedeviling them. They're not spending the money judiciously. Every day you open the paper, there's this story of corruption here and there. I mean, we can't even keep up. Sometimes you hear 2-3 stories in one day. And unfortunately for them, this is the age of the social media. Everything is out in the open. So I hope they will take this as a challenge to do better and not get upset and start criticizing people. You can't tell me how to feel. That's how I feel. You know, you can't tell me no, that's not how you feel. When I'm telling you that's how I feel, I think you should understand that is how I feel. So I hope they take this into consideration, as an advice to them. This is a sounding board. This is how we see what you're doing. See us as your mirror. We're reflecting your performance. So go back to the drawing board and try to do better. It's not only to put in the market, their own United Party youth, which we will talk about. The last time I think back in December, they were at the Golden Key Hotel and the people were outside. They're telling them people are not leaving here until they take care of us. So it can't just be the market people alone who are not feeling this government. A lot of people are not feeling this government.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Dr. Booty, so we see, in the first after its first year in office, we see, public sentiment kind of very disappointed in their. Now let me ask you, one of the things I heard a lot about right after the election was manage your what did they call it? What's the
Expectation.
yes, manage your. So do you really think that this is a fair assessment of this government, or maybe they just overpromise and now the people refuse to manage their expectation?
Well, I think first of all, I didn't realize we actually had Joseph the Dreamer on our show, and his name, obviously he has the name Joseph as well. So now when we have dreams, we know who to go to interpret those dreams for us. So Mr. Tawa, I'll be giving you a personal call because I had some kind of dream the other day myself and you interpret them. But anyway, let's get back to the serious. Look, I've always said, and when from time I was invited to join this platform, that this president doesn't know what he's doing. This president is the one Liberian president that has come to the office of president with the most experience in government. 40 something years. This president had 40 something years working in various government departments. So he understands what corruption means and looks like in Liberian government. He understands how to build relationship in Liberian government. He understands what Liberia should need to be able to move. Look, I recently just transitioned from one organization to another. And when you're having conversations, when you just join an organization, there is this thing they call quick wins. So you find those small things, or some people call it low hanging fruits or something like that. Find small thing that when you do it, it'll be looking flashy, but at least it will keep the people off your back for some time, right? While you start tackling the big things. Because if you start tackling the big things, most of our people don't understand. Like some of us who are interested in politics and then looking at the US politics, for example, Kamala Harris, the economy doing okay. But the people packet not feeling how good the economy doing. And once the packet not feeling how good the economy doing, what are that 4% and there's a tower hotel or that 20%? When I get time, early time they said we had 19 billion worth for investment. But time they said 19 billion. What is 19 billion? But yeah, she had 19 billion. So the fact of the matter is, look, I'm not surprised that the Liberian people are saying to this government that we're unhappy with what is going on. Do I believe that they will change course? No, because Liberia has this culture of impunity. They know that. Look, I gave you an example. We've mentioned, I think, over 2 or 3 weeks ago on the show that there are individuals at the LTA that collects $3,500 a month for generator, right? That is what you call a low-hanging fruit. Cut it off. Do you know how about the Liberian people start clapping like, oh, President Waka, he got their money, yeah, that money, though, they're eating, let other all be sleeping on darkness. Those are the kind of things I can get Liberian people on your side, right? To you and I, to us in here, it's like, okay, well, yeah, what does that mean? But for the ordinary Liberian person, the fact that the LTA governors or whatever they call them, sleeping on darkness when the LEC go, all of them on darkness, those are easy wins. Those are the things that will keep the perception positive so that you can then tackle those. Look, this president came into power with the wrong mindset. He's an old man, and I don't want to use age as a thing because I know some of you in here are old as well. But at the end of the day, what he's done is gone way back to the old things that they were doing during Ellen Johnson's elite time that did not work. This whole system of an enhanced and bloated bureaucracy, right? There were so many office of this and office of that, department of this and this, just extra money that could be going into solving the people's issues, right? And look, I hope that the Liberian people will grow some whatever so that they can get that spine and say, look, in fact, let me just finish on it like this. I hope that Mr. Joseph the Dreamer dream will come true. Let the people come out and tell and say, no, we want your no more. And again, it doesn't have to be violent. All you need, we saw the Arab Spring, right? Millions of people just marching to say, look, we for days, because most of the young people ain't even working. So marching every day, that should be hard thing for them. Because what else you got to do?
Yeah.
Right? March to change the country. Because at the end of the day, you said not doing nothing. They're not creating any jobs for you. They're collecting all the big salaries, taking their family over. The president, every family traveling. Where are you going? For your own health. Why would you be implanting all the time? The oxygen level up there not even good. Why? Yeah, why? Sit down, do work, write paper, sign something. But no, you won't be flying here and flying there. You know, and look, the young people need to stand up because this is their country. I know Brother Morris is only here, but he did say this before. They need to stand up for themselves. We can talk as much as we want. When you see Mr. Nango, when he talks more, he can drink more water. We will get water to drink. If they buy someone, they ain't get water. Just stand up for your water.
You told me not to drink my own water anyway.
But you still drinking. And at the problem, you can't listen. I need to talk about Nima sister to take your water for you. Anyway, I rest, Mr. Partner.
No, but Mike, let me add to Dr. Booty's point. Let me add to Dr. Booty's point. If for no reason whatsoever, in spite of all the challenges that this president is faced with, him being an octogenarian may now run again, so he doesn't have to worry too much about whether he should take the unpopular decision. All of that aside, this is a president who's, when he was vice president, his own president refused to endorse him because she didn't think he was fit for the job. That alone, if I were him, I would have a chip on my shoulder. You understand me? To prove to them that, look, I am not who you thought I was. But look where we are. Almost 12 months in, what is it that we got to celebrate? What is it? I'm having difficulties. Sometimes I'll come on the show, I really want to, but I can't find it. Something that is, worthy of our celebration, mind-blowing, what is it? Asset recovery announced, nothing happening. Asset declaration, we don't know where it is. 285 machines, we don't know where they are. Well, what is it that we can celebrate after 12 months? But when you're saying that our friends who are in the government, oh my man, you're by your talking heads, you ain't got nothing to do, you're sitting in America, you ain't know what happened here, on and that. But we do go to Liberia all the time. We talk to people in Liberia all the time. So I just wanted to extend on that point that Dr. Buddy, bro. He has a reason to want to succeed. He has all the reason. If nothing, just to prove his naysayers wrong. And I don't understand why.
Can I?
Go ahead.
Let me just say something quickly. The thing is, just to your point there, Mr. Nangbe, I've learned in life that, look, when somebody tells you who they are, you have to believe them.
Of course.
They mentor that he was old race car. They're old race car in the parts, they don't even exist anymore. And then we'll take it, we say can't go wrong on the racetrack. No parts to fix it. So it's just running to just so smoke coming out of the car. So what we expect, we don't want to put race car there. So
go ahead, because
look at what happened here. Dr. Booty mentioned something here earlier, which I have been pointing out that we should look at the system that we have and critique it and see what we can change if we can completely get rid of it. But I want to believe if we develop that mindset, once we start, little by little, you'll find out that we'll change that system because it's not going to work. Okay, you are talking about the $3,500 for fuel for gasoline. And there's several reasons why the president didn't even touch it. Even George Weah himself came in there and he didn't touch it. Why Ellen did what Ellen destroyed that country. She strangulated that country so much so that after her, nobody succeed. But the one thing that we keep missing, because until we can get this, it's not about being against anybody, but it's for us to recognize this so that we internalize it. Who was supplementing the budget that allowed her to do these things? If I'm giving you money for you to do something, and you are taking the money, you are siphoning the money off, and you are embezzling the money. And
but Mr. Tao, though, I don't mean to cut you, but remember the comparison that the people are making in the street. They're not even talking about Ellen.
I'm making a point. I'm coming to that, making a point. Because what we are having with all of this heavy salaries and the benefit and all these different perks, that is where it was set. That is the point that I'm making. It was the IMF, World Bank, and the US, their European cousin. They were subsidizing this budget, allowing this lady to pay salaries that even their own Congress people don't make. There was a reason why. Because they knew we arrive at this so that you are shut down. They made sure they enshrine it into law. So the point here is he can't just go and cut those. Those were passed as law. The president himself, from what I read, I don't know the exact number, but over $500,000 or close to $500,000 for fuel. Okay, so he's going to cut the other guy fuel. Then the same thing going to be he have his own. So they just share the country money up. Representing the senators, it's the same way. $45,000 for a car every 3 years. This guy that already working, making 15 grand a month, is getting compensated for living expense. When they look, they're supposed to pass a bill, then they will go ahead, adjourn, they go, then they call them back, they give them $30,000 just to come back. It's all this kind of stuff. So all this stuff right here is there. So you can't just go, yes, you're looking at it, but that stuff was law. So they will have to go send that to their house. And when they send it there, are they going to do that? Are they going to do anything but because guess what? They themselves, their $45,000 for cars in there, their own gas stuff is in there, their own living expenses in there. So when they start cutting from LTA, they're going to be cutting. So the whole system is broken. It is completely.
So why they can't get caught, even if it affect them?
No, that's what I'm saying. So they're not going to do it willingly. They are not going to do that willingly.
Like,
so the president, if the president just decided that, you know what, we got to cut all this because it was passed as a law, they will have to send it back. And you saw Upon, whether they were really serious or not, because how people forget about that harmonization that they did. They left all the guys at the top. My sister and people who actually want doing the work, she wanted the leading diagnostic scientists in Liberia, coordinating between Asia and East Africa and Liberia, always traveling. The little money that we're making, they cut it almost into half. But that's the people that are doing the real work on the ground. And all the representing senators, they kept going up. So these guys are not going to cut anything. So
I agree they're not going to, but they should.
The point that I made that everybody was clapping for me earlier will apply here as well, right? The president, like Mr. Patmo expanded on, if he has the country at heart and decide, you know what, I'm going to cut all the waste. I'm not going to sign any bill that comes from the legislature that legislators not cutting their salary down to $7,500 or whatever. If you send me anything, I'll veto it, right? Yes. And I'll tell the Liberian people why I veto it. And I will ask the Liberian people to come to the legislature and protest until you can send me a bill that cuts down on all these waste. And I will set the example as Mr. President. I will start ordering my channel lantern, and when my generator go out, I'll put my channel lantern on so I can see that way. That, my brother, and so he can't do it on his own. He has to bring in people around him, ministers that will say, yes, in my ministry, I'm cutting this one off. I'm cutting this one off. The budget I'm going to send will be streamlined so that we're paying the people at the bottom slightly higher because we're cutting it from the top here so that these people get more money so they can buy. It stimulates the economy. And then the knock-on effect and knock-on effect. But you have to have the people, like Mr. Patmo is saying, with the will. And that's what we don't have. The president and the right group of individuals can do it.
I totally agree.
I couldn't agree with Dr. Buri more. These are the kind of things. He just took it out of my mouth. That's why I was about to say too.
You never said it. No, don't do that. Get him.
Okay. All right.
No, but it's like mine, black mine,
Okay,
black
let
mine.
me agree with him. I didn't say let he said it, but let me. But the point is, Mike, what is wrong with this president vetoing the budget and even shut the government down? That's the kind of discord we're looking for instead of the nonsense that's going on in the house right now.
I agree.
Shut the government down. Refuse to fund their $45,000.
Let me ask you a question now. Let me ask you a question now because Mr. Tawa talked about this. So Mr. Tawa, I got your back. So what did we when the president came into office? What did we see? The first thing, every single nominee that he sent to the Senate was passed. His first budget he sent there, they give it. So now the people are gonna ask him, so Mr. President, so when you send your thing there, we won't pass it, but we say our own eating now, then you won't cut us. So okay, we know what we'll do now. We'll start hampering your efforts. So how do you respond to that, Mr. Nangwe?
No, Mike, this is what I'm saying. Don't approve my nominees. I don't care. Let the Liberian people know that you are refusing to comply because I'm demanding that the right things be done. That's the kind of confusion I was looking for from this president. Refuse to fund their what they call constituent visit or legislative engagement or all that nonsense. Take all of that out of the budget. Refuse to sign the budget until they remove all that and reallocate all that money to other places. This is the kind of thing I thought he was
like NSA.
But he won't do that. He won't do that because then the budget will stall and he will not be able to pay for a private jet. And the people around him will not be able to. That's why he is not able to say no to these people. Because to say no is
So he said no, they will go order NSA.
Exactly. He's saying no. Also saying no to a part of shopping, to the money that is coming through the NSA. That money channel through the NSA where they all put their money, then they go through the back door and take it out. And then everything counts. Escobar already put somewhere else out. What they ruling in 1026. That's some of the things. That's some of the reasons. So it's just a disappointment all around. And the sad thing is our people continue to suffer. That is what is so unfortunate about this.
They've never tasted that. I mean, at least in my generation, Liberians have not tasted that kind of leadership.
No.
Really. So they've not experienced it before. So when we speak about it, it sounds like a fallacy, oh, what if? But I really think if Liberians tasted such leadership, not just the austerity of it, but they also tasted the product of it. When people start coming home with more money, Papa bringing plastic bag every day because he make a little bit more, working he lay job on the ground floor of finance or education, and they start going to hospitals where there are doctors and there are nurses and there are medication because the government is putting more money into it. When the children start going to MCSS school that's actually equipped with stuff, I think they will see the one plus one and be like, oh wow, we can actually, and that's just the basic. I mean, medication in hospital is the very basic. It's the very basic. I think we
were on the show a couple of months back when I think the X-ray machine or in one of the hospitals, JFK or whatever it was.
CT scan machine.
A CT scan machine.
It was down, and it was the only one that was available was at Carey Hospital at the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those are the things you put your money into. You understand me? Instead of giving somebody $45,000 every 3 years, you understand me? From going from Nugru Town to the Capitol building, or from going from Douala to the Capitol building. That's why you're giving $45,000 every 3 years. Those are the kind of things we thought you were going to stand up to and say, no, this is not right. It has to stop.
Three bulletproof car.
You understand me? From City Hall to Capitol building.
Let me just say something. You see, Mr. Nangwe, what you are saying, we are caught up into this stuff that generally Black people or Africans, they buy what they want and they beg for what they need. And this is the problem. This is true for Liberia because like the CT scan, JFK have only one CT scan machine. I was in communication with a couple of companies in China and in California because we're trying to work something out on a charity stuff, and it was in Liberia. And those CT scans, what they're using for them to buy Abi Moda's car or the president's own car or even or 4 of the senators' car can
Yeah.
buy enough CT scan and portable
Exactly.
X-ray machine to staff all of the hospitals, the major hospitals across Liberia.
Yes.
What, $200,000-$300,000? You can buy decent CT scan
Yes.
for you to put in those places. So this money is available, but they just decided they're not going to actually invest in the people and the well-being of the people. They will rather.
And Joe, that is the point we're making, that there is a lot of fluff that this president could take out of this budget and could do a whole lot instead of jet setting all over the place looking for money that he will not even find. The people know you got the money. They know the money is in there. You're not using it judiciously. That's why most of the places you're going, you're not getting anything. Because it's like a sifter. You put the water in it comes right out. You know?
So let's move on. Speaking about that, about using money judiciously, we saw a House of Representative attempt to put $1.8 million in the budget towards the rebuilding, or the whatever word they're going to use now for the burnt rotunda. And then I learned that it was reduced from 1.8 to a little over $300,000, $300,000, and that money is going to be used for the different feasibility studies and analysis and assessments of the building and the structure to determine what is going to be needed and how it's going to be renovated and all of that. With that being said, the Inspector General of the Republic of Liberia, Gregory Coleman, held a news conference at which he was flanked by the fire service chief, and they concluded and declared that the fire outbreak at the Capitol building was arson, and that they had all of the evidence needed to prove it was arson, and they had persons of interest that they will be inviting to the Liberian National Police Headquarters to query their knowledge of this, and if those people were invited and they did not show up, those people would be arrested and made to show up. This is record time that we've seen the conclusion of this. There was nothing given to the public, only told that they had the necessary evidence. So, Mr. Nangbe, what is your take here on where this is headed?
Well, Mike, I don't know. I watched a brief clip of that press conference you referenced, and it was just a whole show in confusion. You know, like you said, the IG came up and he has people of interest, and then he proceeded to discuss the technical details of the fire, which I thought should have been the role of the fire marshal. For a moment there, I thought he was at the Vatican, talking about the various kinds of smoke, black or whatever it is. So notwithstanding all of this, there is a gentleman who is languishing right now as we speak. Thomas Eldridge, I believe that's his name. Apparently, this man was picked up since December 18th. In spite of, I'm not a constitutionalist, but I read in the papers, I think Article 21F or so, so you can't hold the president more than 28 hours or 48 hours. But this man has been held since December 18th. He hasn't been charged with anything. He's the president of interest, whatever it is, So that he's coming out to conclude that this is what this is, then, obviously, then what is, if you know it was arson, then you should be prepared to tell us what the next stage is. You know it was arson, but you only have people of interest. You have no suspects. You are inviting people in. You remember the very first day of this thing, I think the following day, there were 2 truckloads of people who went to pick up Safoko, who was just a person of interest. I believe the speaker was also mentioned as a person of interest. So I'll be honest with you. The press conference, I think it raised more questions for me than it did provide answers. I don't know where the IG is going, but to conclude, a number of us said here and elsewhere that we thought the president's remarks on the day following the event, we really thought it kind of prejudiced. It had the potential, to bend the investigation in a way to favor a certain expectation. He went there without allowing the investigation to even get started. He began to make assertions, charging that this was the work of hooligans and all of that, the people who don't want to see Liberia built, but they're lying, all of that stuff that he said. When you talk like that, you are signaling to your undermen, your people who you appointed, who must do the bidding, that this is what I'm looking for. And so I think Gregory Coleman is really has his job cut out for him. He has to find a way to make the president's statement come true. I think that's where his problem is. So like we say in the science lab, he has the solution and he's reverse engineering the experiment to arrive at a solution, which is proving difficult for him to do. I think that's where his problem is. So I will leave it to Dr. Booty and Mr. Tao.
So Mr. Tao, here we are. Okay, the IG has spoken, and then we are hearing this talk of this guy Thomas, who was picked up, nobody knows his whereabouts, according to his lawyer. Lawyer doesn't know his whereabouts. Family doesn't know his whereabouts. The police people say he's not to Liberia National Police. The NSA people say he's not here. So basically, this man right now is in the wind. Nobody knows his whereabouts, or nobody knows how safe he is or his state of health. And it looks like we're going to see another court battle because the lawyer intends on bringing a writ of habeas corpus against the government of Liberia again. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is the 6th or 7th one against the Joseph Boyka administration, which is very scary. But here we are. It's arson. There are suspects. Is this the beginning of a political witch hunt, or is this just the government trying to hold people responsible?
Okay, so in the first place is nothing the Liberian Police Department say in terms of investigation carry any weight. None. Nothing they say can ever be truthful in my eyes, because this is a department that have proven to be so incompetent, so incapable of doing anything. Show me one investigation that they actually really carry out. I'm not talking even going far back, but in recent time that they actually concluded. None that I can point out. So in the first place, whenever they say we are going to investigate it, that is there. But when we come to the fire stuff, I follow a lot of the news and I listen to the press conference and all of this stuff. They're saying that they found flammable substance in the air. So everything burned, but the flammable substance stayed right there. It stayed right there, and they were able to retrieve it. Man, look, the whole thing is a joke. Yes, we don't know whether somebody started the fire intentionally or whether it was electrical. Some people saying that based on the blaze, it's like it was something that was intentional, but what the police is even saying, when you start that they have all the evidence because it's found some flammable substance near where it was, so everything burned and that did not burn. But just like Mr. Nangwe said, the president already came in influencing the whole thing. Already. They started going and arresting people all over the place already. And then it's like they're fishing for them to see, like they're doing a dry test run to see what the reaction will be, and then they release them, and now they're coming back. Remember, this president, under this administration, I don't know any administration in recent time that disobeyed the code so much than them. The guy that disappeared that nobody know yet, that allegedly brought to Guinea. What did they say? The same court say, show his living body. Have the court said anything anymore? Press the government to do anything? Nothing. The same Gregory Coleman stuff, he's still in his job. So the guys are emboldened, completely emboldened. But this is the point that I make here, my brother. Whether it is this government or whether it was the Weah government or the Ellen government, the people, the major decision makers, the major players are from the diaspora. These are people who claim that they live in advanced countries, that they know how things go, that they are expert, that when they show they will fix. When they get there, they do things worse than somebody that is from anywhere else. This is what we have. And then guess what? Gregory Coleman will lose his job tomorrow, or he will leave that place, come back here, walk around Philadelphia, and he will be invited on this platform. And he will be speaking. People actually listen to him that he meant well, or he's saying something that was good. No, if he feels that the president is going to pressure him to falsely accuse somebody, if you feel that way, resign. Because you have to be a professional man. You live beyond this administration. So that you can say, no, this is what it is, and the president, then resign. But we see the same thing. I saw Christopher Neal, which I know very well because I followed that, because that's one of my area. These guys were the one that went bankrupt, no car, along with these guys. They've created that mess at LEC, where this sons from Bocas Dion spent $1 billion on the man coffee. Only for this guy to sit on one of the platform about maybe 8 months ago, that money captain have the right for him to receive $17,000 a month because the position he occupies is a major position. And people are calling and clapping that he's an expert. These are the kind of experts that are coming from the diaspora. So if you look, my brother, no, look, I'm here too. But look, let me tell you something. The influence that will wield in Liberia's future. Liberia's future lies in the hands of the diaspora group. Because you come here, and so you have a lot of weight back home. When you show up, people listen, but the people going are misleading and draining and destroying the country. And we have to be honest enough also to point that out. That even if they come back here, I want for me to acknowledge Yola, that is the Liberian group here in this country. That if we have such evidence of guys arresting people and doing these things we need to be able to bring the Liberian community together and actually rally them and actually solicit the U.S. government or something so that the people can be punished. Because we're trying to fight corruption. Corruption is not out there somewhere in a vacuum. Let us be able to do that instead of them coming in, crossing through Sierra Leone, come here, then posting on Facebook, and then nothing happened. And we sit here, and each time I saw one of the program, and there are few people that come on this program, as much as almost everybody, all the top tier decision making in the last 20 years in the government are all from the diaspora. They keep saying that the president, the government need to look in the diaspora, which diaspora they're looking in. You want for the government to be forming and then they just bring it in. So we have to hold ourselves responsible. But Gregory Coleman, that's supposed to be this top guy that have all the, look at what he's doing. Look at what, you don't just pick people up. And then, even if the president wanted to pressure you, but that is what we are seeing. So no, yes, it could be, we can say, you know what, the police department, it's a same broken system, right? The poor Coleman there, he might not be able to do much. That is true to some extent, but you can follow that kind of stuff.
Mike, just give me about 10 seconds. You know, I don't disagree with Mr. Tao. I believe some of the problems are derived from those of us here in the diaspora, and that's true because some of us are behaved badly. But I keep telling him some of the problems are also locally grown. You know, the Christopher Neal that he referenced, Christopher Neal did not come from the diaspora. You know, Samuel Kofi Woods, our best friend, who is the president's legal advisor. Samuel Kofi Woods is not just a lawyer, but he is a social rights activist. He ran the Justice and Peace Commission. He should let the president know to tell his justice minister, you don't detain anybody over 48 hours. You got to charge them or send them home. You can't arbitrarily arrest people. Samuel Kofi did not come from the diaspora. He's been in the whole time. So, you know, when you talk so, I want for you to talk so too. I'm not disagreeing with you. Part of the problem
exception of the rule don't make the rule.
Oh my
The
man, wait,
the diaspora group is the most dominant force. Listen.
Wait, man, I'll give it to you. Wait, the man tells only go. Let me clap for the man, please. Then you can tell your own. Okay, the man is right. When they kind of Sam Kofi Woods, he's right. We all grew up. Sam Kofi Woods, was justice and peace for the Kelly. That what made him.
Yes, the Kelly Secretary. Yeah,
didn't invent anything to make him a popular Liberian. There was a stance on human rights. Now he is security advisor to the president, and we're talking about people losing. You know,
go ahead. He's right. He has a point. I'm not denying that. What I'm saying here is that the dominant force in our government, the overwhelming majority, because you see, when we speak in terms of majority and the position that they hold. If you take the collective position of the diaspora group, it outweighs any group locally. They're supposed to set. Listen now. Look, we come from here, and we claim that we come from a place where everything is law and this.
You say we are dominant.
In terms of our representation. Yeah, in terms of our representation and our position in many areas. So we set up. Look at what happened here. What happened if you have 50 top government officials, and you have 10 of them that is local, and you have 30 that is from the diaspora in top level tier from 1 to 3. If the guys in the diaspora were actually operating based on how we say that the U.S. run, guess what? It will make a major change. It will force the 10% or the 10%.
I agree with you.
That is what we are saying. So enough.
I really disagree strenuously. If you look across the spectrum, Minister of Defense, he's not a diaspora person. Minister of Internal Affairs, he's not a diaspora person.
We have not seen no coup.
I mean, Modahu, Minister of Commerce, he's not. So I'm telling you, when you talk to, I want you to talk to. I'm not saying you're wrong.
All right,
I think you're wrong in terms of the magnitude your
let me come in.
Let me
magnitude of the diaspora influence.
Yeah, talk so that gossip, and I don't do that.
Give me chance. You'll give me chance. What the man said is very like talk so that gossip. Dr. Booty. Go ahead.
Okay.
No, I think look, I'm going to try and focus on something slightly different with regards to what was happening with this whole issue of the national legislature, right? So the president of Liberia ran to the legislature and made the statement that he made. And what I took away from it is, okay, about 7,500 a month times 73 representatives times 3 months, that's like 1.6 million, right? It's been wasted because people ain't working. You don't say nothing. Invested in the 10 bobo one I wanted. That particular one you can't talk about it. You bobo, right? 3 months wasting our money and still going on. They're wasting our country's money, right? LTA, you suspend a group of people, say you investigation can't end. I'm sure you're paying them and paying the acting people as well. So again, wasting government money there. Central bank. So your justice minister comes out and undermines the only institution that the Constitution gives an authority to interpret the law. As these people are final. When they say they think green, what are blacks say green, right? He comes out and undermines them, and you say nothing. But you hear about fire burning, and you run for your office. You can't. You say, "Oh, that people hooligans. We got hooligans." Yes, we do have hooligans at the legislature, but it's the 43 that you are supporting. So you've tried to remove the speaker, right? It didn't work. You've tried all kind of mango ain't working. And then now you're trying to do a political hit job, right? By setting them up to be the individuals that were behind the arson. Because there's a lot of things, those of us who are cynics, right? Okay, you won't blame Mr. Nangbe for doing something. You go, you do the thing, and you say, well, Mr. Nangbe did it. It's possible that someone, the government operative, because we know previous governments have done it. A government operative actually went there and set that thing on fire, put the evidence, the so-called evidence that they've seen, the overwhelming evidence, and I play the way we're burning there until you can find evidence. But the overwhelming evidence were placed in the right places so that it could be found, so that they can go after certain individuals. Since we tried to do it legally and not working, we went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said we ultra virus. So now let's do it somehow. But fire by force, they have to go. And that is unacceptable, right? And the 300,000 thing you talk about, and I'll end on that because Mr. Nangba and Mr. Tyler have touched on most of the things. You mean the Chinese people came to add the extra thing to this building, right? You want them to check the wire there. They didn't do no assessment on the rest of the building. They just came there and just say, okay, we'll not test it. We'll come and add the thing to here. We'll connect the wire to the wire there inside, but we'll not check the wire. Is that what you're trying to tell? That we need to then take 300,000 to go check the wire that the people already checked, right? Like seriously, to waste 300,000 on checking wire. Is a tower then I check the wire, then go there and say no, Nangbe, you gotta check the wire too. We'll get 300.
No, that's because the Chinese people are from the diaspora, they're not the local people.
On the point, I'm glad that you said that. On the point, look, I would want to agree with Mr. Tao to an extent, right? The majority of officials in government are not from the diaspora. I don't believe. I think when I look at the composition of this government,
I agree.
Look in the legislature. Yes. Let's leave the legislature. The legislature are elected. Those are elected. We're talking about the executive, but the executive, the guys in there, they're not majority from the diaspora. And even that group from the diaspora, I know Mr. CA normally mentioned one or two guys in there that he thinks are doing okay. And there are one or two from. The problem we have is Liberian people, we're a bunch of selfish people. We're greedy. Everybody comes in with this mindset of their country here, that elephant meat. Well, what time we got to kind of caught. That's the mindset we come with. What are you from the diaspora? The guys that they gave him the 3,500, the LTA, they're not diaspora people. They were there. All of them were on the ground there. They've been there since Charlie Kintan. The people can say, So at the end of the day, it's our mentality as a people, as a group of individuals that we call ourselves Liberians. We're greedy. We're selfish. We care about self more than country. So it don't matter what I come from China, what I come from Buto, what they brought me from wherever in the world, I will come there with that same mindset because that's how the majority of us Liberians are. Right? Because you just mentioned Kofi Woods, right? Kofi Woods, apparently when he was at Public Works on the presidential leave, the one he did SL was supposed to be talking, he said, the same Kofi Woods there? Oh yeah, check right there. Okay. So you cannot just, it can't be diaspora or local, it's just the mentality of us as a people. That's what we need to do. We need to try and develop this love for country, love for fellow men. Because these people are riding around. I don't know how, we all go to Liberia. And sometimes you're driving around, you can see the suffering in people's faces. You're like, hey, this thing is not easy. And these guys drive around every day looking at that, knowing that they're taking money from these people's table for themselves. That's evil. And that's on the individual. I don't think it's diaspora or local. It's just individual as people. We're just a bunch of greedy people.
Yes. So so before we go to our last, and I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask you guys to incorporate the last topic into your closing because we have about 9 minutes to go. But I witnessed the Ghanaian inauguration when this military leader from Burkina Faso stood up. The people started cheering for him, man. And I was dumbfounded. What has this man done that they are cheering for him, right? He has cut austerity measures in his country. He has paid off the international debt. He's doing things that all these other people are capable of doing.
That's right.
In the civilian government. But they refuse to do it. But yet they are cheering for a military guy that had to come in and do it. And I was just dumbfounded, But I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah.
So with our closing, and I will start with Mr. Tao here. I will start with Tao. But Tao, you people there, when you talk, they let you talk. So if I start with them, when you talk, they won't come back. So I will start with you. But on the very last topic is the disgruntled United Party youth. That that are just they're really angry. They were at the party headquarters. They booed their leadership and closed the press conference. And I mean, at that level, they are disgruntled. And these are young people. So if the United Party youth are disgruntled, think about the CDC youth, the ANC youth, all the other youth within the youth. And so go ahead, give your closing and then touch on that.
Okay. So, I will give you, I don't like the quote. I will leave that quote out. But I will tell you something here. There is no youth in our country that belong to no party. Genuinely speaking. Mm-hmm. Okay? So that's the first thing. These kids, these young men and women, are just looking for somewhere that they will feel hopeful. They lend their trust. The only thing that they actually have left. So whether it is UP, whether it's CDC, whether it's whatever, and they're being betrayed. They're hoping that, you know what? If you go look in the town, I know a bunch of them when I was there. The same people that will go to CDC rally, you will see the same people at UP rally. They're just hoping that one of these people or ANC rally, wherever, as long as the rallies are held at different times, they're just hoping that somebody, they can believe in this person can deliver. Or at least create some environment for them to be able to have hope. That's it. So the disgruntledness, yes, why it showed they put the camera on CDC, or United Party youth, it's not just that all of the youth in the country. They're all struggling. Okay, so that's the whole thing. And the sad part, these people don't care because of the system of government that you have. Once they're in there, you can't do anything else. You wait for 6 years. Guess what? They will loot as much as they can, hopefully that they stay able to, because they leave the children so impoverished that if they bring small Becker, right, they can get them elected, it can maybe. Or if they voted out, that's fine. Guess what? Another group of crows get in there. But look, I'll point something out about Ibrahim Traore that you were mentioning. Mm-hmm. There is something across most of Africa. I don't know about Liberia. Because remember what Ibrahim Traore did in the Sahel region, the 3 countries. I followed them very well for the last 10 years. The youth, because of the orientation, they knew, or at least they were able to preempt, or they were able to actually deduce where their problem may lie. France, in their country, exploiting the resources, controlling their coffer through the CFA, the youth recognize all of this stuff. Ibrahim Traore was part of that youth before he joined the military, and this was able to charge. So you see, with this, what happened? They were able to stand behind him. And when he came there, he cannot. None of the guys in the democracy can accomplish what he's accomplishing. This is what democracy does. The democracy that they're giving you in its form is corrupt, it's strangulating. It has too many holes that you have to jump through. You want to do something like we're saying here, you have to take it, send it to the legislature, it go into the other room, they tie it down, you have to cut deal with them. The military guy don't have to do that. In the first place, he dissolved everything. He took over the country's budget, allocated where needed. See the airports that he done. See the policies that he put in place. The goal instead of a big mind is not being refined. This is just a short period of time. The speed at which he can move, you can't do that in a so-called democracy, especially the one that they have in Africa. It's not going to work that easily unless you have a whole population of people that you have, at least a good amount of them, that really intend to really do something. But places like Liberia, it's not going to work. The corruption is too much. They're going to shut it down. So the military is able to move things much faster. Okay? The young man have paid off the foreign debt. As you see, not only that, the domestic debt he paid off also. The money is in those countries. He has not taken a single loan from IMF or World Bank. But I wanted to make a point here because each time I mention it here, they say, oh, which other government come up with it? It's not that no other government work. But the people who intend on controlling you, who gave you the democracy, will make sure that it doesn't work. As we are speaking, he has gone through at least several attempted coups that he has survived. And tomorrow, when he's removed, then they say, oh, you see, military doesn't know it worked. Cuba didn't fail in terms of it to get strangulated because it didn't work. 60 years of blocking them. If you feel that your own system worked, then leave everybody for them to practice what they want to practice. But they know that other systems work. So the moment you want to practice it away from that control, they make sure they employ all their power to disrupt you so that it doesn't work. So that then they can say, you see, nothing else works. It's when the democracy is corrupt, it's divisive. The Western democracy is not the only form of democracy, so we shouldn't be confused. It is easily exploited.
Okay.
We need to look. I'm saying this again. All the African countries that are practicing it, we are struggling with it. We need to examine what was given to us. This doesn't belong to us. If you are here in the United States, see how messy and divisive this stuff is. That even they themselves, they're struggling with it right now. That for them to build a single mile of road, somebody, the eagle was right here. Now your eagle, the eagle have a net right here. There's one, squirrel was digging right here. They want this tree was planted here. The tree can only grow here. It become a mess. They don't go anywhere. They're all over the place. We need to question this and try to change this. A legislature in Liberia that can set its own salary, set its own benefits, set its own gas bill, set its own living expense. Who does that? You hand them your whole coffer. They're going to empty it. The guys need to be forced out. Some committee need to be set up if we want to still keep the same thing to where they determine their pay need to be cut. They need to be paid based on performance, based on output. They don't need to handle no money for any development fund. Public works need to be everywhere where the development fund need to channel through the internet fed through some development, and they don't need to touch any money.
Okay. Yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Howell. Change needs to come. Thank you so much. Dr. Booty, why don't you go ahead and give your
you went the whole 9 minutes. Yeah.
You took all the 9 minutes, man. You know what
I'll give you all 9 minutes.
No, I'll be brief. It's 11 o'clock on my side. I'll be brief. Look, Mr. Tawa, I understand your point, right? But there's something you've missed, right? And I'll just point that out quickly, and then I'll address the other topic. So you've missed the individual, right? Samuel Doe, military leader in Liberia. He didn't do what this guy is doing at Burkina Faso. The other two countries there, Mali, Niger, compare them to Burkina Faso and see whether those leaders are achieving the same things at the same pace as him. Sani Abacha, Nigeria, military leader, right? He stole billions and billions and billions. It is not just the system, it's always the individual, right? Yes, militaries can do things, but this guy is an honest guy. This guy cares about his people. This guy, because Samuel Doe, when he became a military leader in Liberia, Rawlings was doing in Ghana. Sankara was there in Burkina Faso. So he had people to learn from, but he chose not to. So it's not the system. It's not the military leadership. It's the it is always the individuals. It is always the people that are in those systems. They're the ones that are responsible. This guy is doing brilliant. I follow him as well. It's because of him, not because of the military rule, right? So that's it. Anyway, on the issues, look, I believe what the police director and them said recently is clearly aligning, like Mr. Nangwe said, with what the president already accused people of, and that's they're just trying to put round pegs in square holes, right, to try and make things fit. And unfortunately, it's not happening. I think we should give the new president of the EUL the opportunity to succeed, and that would mean the president needs to give her the right foundation by bringing people around her that can help her, shield her from some of the hardship that she would experience when she tried to change things. In terms of the youth, look, you're right, Mr. Tao, I agree with you 100%. The young people in Liberia have always been neglected. Leadership upon leaders, and Mr. Nangbe will be able to touch on this as well from their time. That's why we had the progressives coming out because the young people are always neglected. This older elite class believe that they own the country and they should benefit from it, and not the young people. They're not putting in place opportunities to develop them, to give them not just educationally, but in terms of economic development, social development. There's nothing going on for our young people. So I'm not surprised that the young people from the Unity Party are agitating. This government is just starting to hear from the Liberian people in the or polls that Mr. Patmo mentioned. But if we take Joseph the Dreamer's dream, then it means that the agitations are going to increase, right? And more young people will come out and say, look, this thing, we can't take it anymore, and we need a change in government. Because I think, look, we need some radical people, and I'm always privileged to be on here with Mr. Tangwe, knowing what they had to do to get Liberia to shift a little bit. And I think we need something like that from people who are struggling in the system, because or else, sometimes when like people are doing things, you just have to, when you talk, they're not listening. You just need to pretty much just grab them and shake them, and at least it will get them to go. Whoa, they got your hand. So that's what we need in Liberia right now. Peaceful. It always has to be peaceful. But we can get 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 people that can march daily until this government starts to change its trajectory and do well for the people. But it's great show, and I'm looking forward to next Sunday already.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Booty. Mr. Ramwe.
Yeah, well,
the man calling for your progressive to come by. Me, I heard that call.
We're coming. We're starting from Crucialville. No, but it's been a great show. The young people are always impatient. We can sit around and say, you know what, let's get in time. But the young people, and as we continue to say here, I think the young people coming out and letting the party know their dissatisfaction. I think we haven't seen a lot of it. There's a lot of dissatisfaction in the country. A lot of people are not happy with the way things are going. They came to rescue because they themselves, they were aware of the difficulty, the plight of our people, and it doesn't seem like they are in a hurry to address this problem. That's why you're seeing all of this agitation. People are openly expressing in the market their disappointment, making comparison with we are imagining. As dismally as we have performed, we thought that was the lowest of the low. For them to tell us that Bwaka is even doing lower than we are did, that is a problem. That is a problem. It is a problem. And as Dr. Budi indicated, this is the president who has been in government like forever. He should have a very, very short learning curve. It shouldn't take him so long because, most of what is needed, he is aware of what works and what doesn't. He shouldn't be in the trial and error mode. But, coming back to the topics, the president of the University of Liberia, hopefully, her not being familiar with the culture might be a good thing for the university. Hopefully, she's not going to be compromised by the old culture, and that, I think, it could work in her favor, but she will need a lot of help. I think Dr. Budi or Mr. Tao pointed that out. She will need a lot of help from the executive. They have to give her the support. Hopefully, if not just financial, but to give her, the manpower, the personnel who will help her, help her drive, what is necessary, whatever change is necessary. Hopefully, too, they will give her the freedom to go out and lobby for money, do grant writing, or encourage people, set up a team that she can help to, help them, quickly, so that, they can sharpen their grant writing skills and go out and find some money, because the university does need a lot of money, even what is appropriate in the budget. $33 million or whatever it is, I don't think it's enough to solve the problems of the university. So now we're talking about people perception. We already talked about that. The people are they're impatient. They want a solution yesterday, and yet we are, and so they will continue to agitate. They will continue to express to the government how they feel about the government, and hopefully this is a wake up call to the government to do better. I never imagined that some of my very friends who and all spoke against Samuel Doe, William Talbot, Charles Taylor will be in government today and allow what is happening, arbitrary arrest and detention, without trial. This is what we champion, against the whole time, people's rights, the right, to be protected by the Constitution. You cannot take a person and hold them for over 48 hours. Since December 18th, it's been almost 20 days. And this gentleman is being held because they're trying to extract, confession from him so that he will incriminate somebody and make the president's pronouncement come true. This is bogus. I didn't expect that from from the people we have in government. And so I will continue to tell them here our frustration and disappointment over their inability to perform. They came in there. Some of them are experienced people. They've been in government for a while. They know what to do. And yet, we don't see it happening. So, hopefully they're hearing us. Instead of taking offense to what we're telling them, they should thank us for helping them reflect their wrongdoing so that they can go and correct them. That's what we expect them to do. And we'll continue to do this. So again, great show. Thank you all very much. Thank you to the audience as well for being with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thanks to all three gentlemen for joining us, taking your Sunday off. Thank you to our audience, or our loyal audience, for joining us. We trust me, we read your interactions. We don't always post it, but we read your interactions, and we want to encourage you to continue to be interactive with the show. That is why we have these debates. That is why we have these discussions, so that we are interacting on a positive, peaceful note, and hopefully through that method we can bring change to our country. It's been a great show. It's been a very eventful week. We are looking forward to this coming week. We're looking forward to see how the university president, Dr. Mapaya, kicks off her week. I'm sure she's going to be meeting with the various groups. I saw a picture of her. She was already under the Palau hut, talking to people. I think that's a great start, hopefully her office remains open and people can come through and make suggestions that she will take seriously. We're really excited to see how she gets a hold of the budget. We know LU, how it's been for a long time. There are people there who are not professors that are teaching. There are people there who are not even teaching, but they are getting paid, and all this hoopla that always comes up when it comes to the University of Liberia. So we're hopeful. We're also hopeful that the Liberia National Security Service gets a hold of this thing, that the court is able to effectively intervene. Because the thing is, it undermines what they're trying to do, which is to bring a criminal, according to the criminals, to justice. When you skirt the law, then people question the outcome. People question, all of us old enough, we remember Franzameton, and how you're sitting there in the chair, you're checking a finger behind him, when you're calling Baga Matthew knee.
You want to play a tape.
All these things, and forgetting somebody knee there again, all these things, and but we lived through that, and we really thought for a moment that we were done with that, and it'll be a good thing for Liberia to move forward from there, and not have to worry about this. And I will end with this. I believe it was T. Ebenezer Ward that said, the greatest peril to our Liberian democracy lies in the illiteracy of the Liberian youth. And we've seen that. We've seen that in our lifetime, And so when we see disgruntled youth from whatever party or whatever organization or whatever upbringing, and we see disgruntled youth, it always makes us nervous. It makes us very nervous. We're hoping this government can find it in themselves to address the problem with the youth, whether it is unemployment, whether it is education, whether it is the drug effect. The Liberian youth is our next generation is literally before our very eyes being destroyed. And something has to be done. Something has to be done, so that we don't see ourselves where we were a few decades ago. With that being said, once again, I want to thank everybody. That was my soapbox. I want to thank everybody for joining, gentlemen. I look forward to seeing you all next week. And until then, we'll close with our song.
We are Liberia.